Hello, good morning, students. I will continue yesterday's GAT, GATS. That is what GATS. Half of the topic is covered yesterday. Today, I am going to discuss further some part of the same GATS. The main thing that I already discussed objectives and members and some basic conditions, everything. Today that I am going to discuss about information content service schedules. Each WTO member is required to have a schedule of specific commitment which identifies the service for which the member guarantees market access and national treatment and any limitation that may be attached. The schedule may also be used to assume additional commitments regarding, for example, the implementation of specified standards or regulatory principles. Commitments are undertaken with respect to each of the four different modes of service supply. This is what four type of services, in addition to another three that I discussed, modes of supplies, service supplies, we discussed in my yesterday class. So, keeping that particular in mind, I will go further with that. Most schedules consist of both sectoral and horizontal sections. The horizontal section contains entries that apply across all sectors subsequently listed in the schedule. Horizontal limitations often refer to a particular mode of supply, notably commercial presence and the presence of natural persons. The sector specific sections contain entries that apply only to the particular services. Specific commitments. The majority of current commitments enter into force on 1st January 1995, that is the date of entry into force of the WTO. The new commitments have since been scheduled by participants in extended negotiations. Of course, that is what we are going to defer further, and by new members that have joined the WTO. Any member is free to expand or upgrade its existing commitment at any time. This is what the one very important thing that you should remember. Commitments. Any member is free to expand or upgrade its existing commitments at any time according to their interest. That is necessary. Pursuant to Article 21, specific conventions may be modified subject to certain procedures. Countries which may be affected by such modifications can request the modifying member to negotiate compensatory adjustment. These are to be granted on an MFN basis, that is what most favored nations basis. And specific exemptions in the GATS to cater for important national policy interests. This is the important things that every government has to take care of that things. The GATS permits members in specified circumstances to introduce or maintain measures in contravention of their obligations under the agreement, including the MFN requirement or specific commitments. MFN means most favored nations requirement or specific commitments. The relevant article provides cover among other things for measures necessary to thus protect public morals or maintain public order. This is most important things. Protect public morals or maintain public order. Protect human, animal or plant life or health, or secure compliance with laws or regulations not inconsistent with the agreement, including, among other things, measures necessary to prevent deceptive or fraudulent practices. See, these are the very important areas which has to be taken care of and has to be given weightage also. Moreover, the annexure on financial service entries members, regardless of other provisions of the GATS, to take measures for prudential reasons, including for the protection of investors, depositors, policyholders, or persons to whom a fiduciary duty is owed by a financial service supplier, or to ensure the integrity and stability of the financial system. Finally, in the event of serious balances of payments difficulties, members are allowed to temporarily restrict trade on a non-discriminatory basis despite the existence of specific commitments. Of course, the number of LDCs are going to face this type of problems. That is what balance of payment difficulties. In such case, they can think about some exemptions and some changes in their interest. Totally, it should be in the interest of the country in concern and the member countries too. And special provisions for developing countries. Of course, it is very important thing. Of course, WTO has come up for the sake of some provisions, in the sense some providing some opportunities to developing countries to come up in their economy. From that angle, what this GATS is going to give. So developing country interests have inspired both the general structure of the agreement as well as individual articles. So in particular, the objective of facilitating the increasing participation of developing countries in services trade has been enshrined in the preamble to the agreement and underline the provisions of Article 4. So developing countries are especially given specific importance to enter into service traders. Okay, this article requires members, among other things, to negotiate specific commitments related to the strengthening of developing countries' domestic service capacity, the improvement of developing countries' access to distribution channels and information networks, and the liberalization of market access in areas of export interest to these countries. So these are some specific provisions given to the developing countries. While the notion of progressive liberalization is one of the basic tenets of the GATS, Article 19 provides that liberalization takes place with due respect for national policy, objectives, and members' development levels, both overall and individual sectors. Development countries are thus given flexibility for opening fewer sectors, liberalizing fewer types for transactions, and progressively extending market access in line with their development situations. So the most important things, every policies of course should be in line with the development policies as well as development status or development conditions or positions of that particular country. So in the GATS also, they have followed such type of rules so that developing countries should not be hammered. In other words, should not be suffer from this type of new policies. So this is the one thing that they kept in mind, and of course policies also in favor of these type of problems. Other provisions ensure that developing countries have more flexibility in pursuing economic integration policies, maintaining restrictions on balance of payments grounds, and determining access to and use of their telecommunication transport networks and services. In addition, developing countries are entitled to receive technical assistance from the WTO Secretariat. So, these are the provisions made in the GATS to the developing countries. As you know, of course, the world economy is having two big sections. One is developed countries, another is developing countries. Of course, there is no much difference to be the member of WTO, but after that, different rules are framed according to the conditions of different economies. Some economies are already in developed conditions. Some economies are growing very fast, and some economies are even still in the primitive stage. So keeping this all points in mind, the GATS laid down the rules, and because of that, of course, service sectors gained momentum. And today, countries like India, the share of the service sector is more than the two sectors. That is, tertiary sector's contribution is more than the secondary and primary sector to the national income or the GDP. So like that, there's a lot of opportunities, and that can be catered on the basis of their ability, and that's what the things that outcome of GATS also. So GATT is supportive in every respect, but how you are going to use it and how you are going to implement and execute is matters always. So with these ideas, I hope that you understand what is GATT and how the rules and regulations, what are the provisions made to the developing countries and all these things. I hope that you understand and refer these all things. Reference mainly food books, a report, and even internet sources, journals, that are all the things. Thank you, dear students. If you have any doubts regarding these particular topics, you may contact me, and I will answer for the questions. With these ideas, I conclude this GATS. So I will come again with another topics. Until then, say goodbye. Thank you.